Hello and welcome to another Goofy Movies podcast. It is episode 26, right?
Yes, indeed.
Nice.
Halfway there.
I wanted to say before we started today, I wanted to give it a shout out to Katamari. She's the one who's been doing our thumbnails recently, and they've been phenomenal. I'm like in the description is going to be a link to her Twitter. So yeah, give her some likes, give her a follow. If she opens commissions and stuff, toss her some dollars because she does great job. But yeah, how are y'all doing?
I'm all right, really. Just been working, watching movies and stuff. Watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm almost all the way caught up.
Cool. What about you, Connor?
I watched Soul.
How was Soul?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen Soul yet. I've been meaning.
The music was good and the animation was alright, but the story was kind of,
The story was weird.
Felt very short.
Well, like
It felt like it was trying to justify pedophilia.
What?
Whoa.
Wait, where'd he go? You can't just leave like that.
Whoa.
Sorry.
What do you mean by this?
All right, I blacked out. Did I say something funny?
But yeah, I heard Soul's story is a very like weird topic, right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of essentially like, hey, you shouldn't like, because I haven't seen it, but correct me if I'm wrong. Like, it's kind of like, hey, there's other goals in life you can achieve. Kind of type of the message it tries to send.
Yeah, it's kind of like things like you shouldn't put all your focus and energy on finding a purpose in life. Just live it.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the long and the short, in the nutshell.
Yeah.
The TLDR.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, did you do anything besides see Soul? Connor?
I watched. What else did I watch? I watched Remember the Titans and Glory Road back to back. Right before I watched Soul. So that day I just only watched movies. And Remember the Titans is very it deals with racial subject matter, but is a movie anyone could watch. And then Glory Road has the N-word plastered over every wall in the movie. So it's
yeah, I was about to say did you watch I was about to say
Huh?
did you just watch 3 black major films?
I think I did.
Black History Month.
I didn't realize.
You're the only person here who celebrated Black History Month, apparently.
Hey, I watched
Yes,
the Black Messiah.
Wait, what?
The funny thing is, now that you mention it, I watched Remember the Titans, and because I saw it there, and then I finished that, and I was like, oh, that was great. And then I saw Glory Road right next to it in the queue, and I was like, you know what? That's what we're doing next. And then I guess I didn't realize that, yeah, I guess later on, I looked at the segment I was clicking from, and I guess it was Black Stories or something. I didn't even realize.
Oh, that's funny.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have clicked it. And that's that.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have cared.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't mean it. I don't. Please don't fire me. I need this podcast.
Can you imagine if we were getting paid for this?
I try not to think about it too
much.
Dude, the idea of making money talking about Goofy.
It's goofy.
I'd probably kill myself.
Yeah, probably.
Probably be I shouldn't be doing this.
I'll be honest. I'm still reeling a little bit from the possibility that we discovered last week.
Yeah, I had some more like things to consider, like what like let's say they did get divorced. And, like the reason why like Pete and Goofy are like closer friends is because of the divorce. Like Goofy took Pete's side as somebody who was like wife left him.
Ah, makes sense.
They grew closer as friends. That's why he's like oh, Goofy, zippity doo dah, so good to see you, ha ha ha.
Makes sense.
Instead of just being a dickhead and be like, get the hell out of here, Goof.
Makes sense.
Get your goofy shit out of here.
Get this goofy nonsense away from me.
I think it's fucking gay.
Again, I didn't mean that. That wasn't an anti-homosexual joke.
I think it's called homophobic, but.
You think I don't know what a homo joke is?
I feel like that was a bit homophobic.
Come on, save those jokes till June.
But yeah, no.
That was bad.
But yeah, like it's I'm still like reeling from the idea because it's kind of like a wild thing to think about that it's a genuine possibility. Because Pistol genuinely does not share any characteristics with Pete. Not a single one.
Did we? What was it that we came to that she's like,
that she's possibly like a child of like infidelity on Peg's part?
Was it Goofy who fucked?
No, I would assume that the father would be unknown and off screen because Pistol's ears are not like Peg's, nor are they like Pete's. She has blue eyes. She has orange hair, which again, Peg has like brunette to like it ranges from brown brunette to red, and Pete has black hair. So it's just like I know it's like, oh well, it could be like a really weird recession. Yeah, but like that, the likelihood is so low for that type of like hair.
Yeah.
From that pairing.
Yeah, it's like she in terms of like a dog, she looks and acts more like as our fan Maya pointed out, like a Chihuahua. She's basically like, because she's small, she's hyper, she talks super fast. She's like
Yeah,
so
like that. Like
she like have an infidelity with like
a Chihuahua man.
Yeah,
it's a possibility. But yeah, like none of Pistol's characteristics match up with Pete's at all. Like not a single bit. And we were saying how that possibility is the reason why we don't actually see Pistol and Peg in a Goofy movie or an extremely Goofy movie, because the characters had at some point between a Goofy movie and extremely Goofy movie, or like between end of Goof Troop and beginning of a Goofy movie or an extremely Goofy movie, could happen in between, that the characters discover that Pistol is like a child of infidelity, and when Pete goes to court and like proves it, and it's like, oh, and like he takes custody of PJ because PJ is clearly his kid, and Pistol goes with PJ and with Peg because that is actually her mom. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what we discussed last time. Remember, Connor?
Yeah.
So yeah.
My memories. Maria.
Maria. Did I ever tell you guys that like
Peg Pete?
Did I ever tell you guys like one time in school, I had a friend who was like, "Oh, guess my middle name," and she had two middle names. She was like, one of them is, you know, like she like because I had like talked a bunch of shit. She's like, "Is your favorite country?" I was like, "America." She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Guess my other last middle name." I was like, "Okay, I need a guess." And she's like, it's like, it's a character from Sonic Adventure 2, and I was like, "Fucking what?" And I had to like play Sonic Adventure 2 in like a hot minute since then. At that point,
Shadow.
yeah, I was just like racking my brain. I was like, Amy, Rouge, because this is like a girl.
Chaos?
Like this was like a girl. It's like, oh, it's my community name, and I was like, that answers smaller questions for me, because you have to choose like a saint, right, for a community name, right?
He had what?
I don't know.
Like
Don't know.
when you get communion or whatever or something, like you get another middle name, but it's supposed to be from one of the saints,
Oh,
is it not?
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like you're supposed to get it from a saint. I was like, I have no idea which saint you could have chosen. I'm so lost. And she was like, Maria, and I was like, come on now.
That's a stretch.
Well, yeah, it was a stretch. I was like, yo, that character literally pops up like here, like her name said is like 3 times toward the very end of that game.
Maria.
Why did you say that name, Shadow?
Why'd you say that name, Shadow? Maria.
I don't know.
My memory. But yeah, so yeah, that was a really like weird thing in high school for me. Well, no, yeah, so like yeah, the whole like that whole revelation is such a it's not really a revelation, but more or less the possibility of the characters origins is like wild to me, because it's like, because it really makes sense, because it's really weird, because as I said before, as a designer, you like someone, yeah, you could chalk it up to like like, you know, like maybe lazy character design or something, but usually when people design a character, especially a child, they try their best to kind of incorporate parts of both characters, so you can kind of clearly see where they came from, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, but like Pistol has nothing except for like, she has like Pete's teeth, I want to say, but even then, that's like nothing.
I'd say like maybe she has like his temper, but her mom also has a temper, so it's like,
Yeah, they both do. Yeah, it's just like it's just like it's hard to like really like, yeah, like I mean, yeah, the only thing I could imagine, yeah, well, I can't even say she has um Pete's teeth, because her teeth are still coming in. She's clearly like missing a tooth in a lot of these shots. So yeah, it's like it's hard. It's really hard to tell. Wait, all right. I just came across something. I just came across something.
What'd you do, Dad?
I just came across a Reddit post, and it says a fact that I always forget: Peg, Pete, PJ, and Pistol are all cats, not dogs.
is this
The
because
fuck
of the
are you
original
talking about?
cartoon, Pete like being designed showing off as a big cat?
I would. Well, I mean, yeah, I would
Steamboat
imagine.
Willie?
And like
You tell
Steamboat,
me who's a cat?
Well, because like in the
Pete.
original, yeah, in the original Steamboat Willie, he had that big like cat
They're
like tail, you know.
yeah, they're all cats. The Pete family are cats.
Sweet Jesus.
Um,
But I think they changed it to dogs after, like, I think they, like, species
I
swapped.
don't think so. Why would they?
Well, where's his tail?
Where's Goofy's tail?
Goofy's a dog.
Dogs have tails! What the fuck are you talking? What?
I feel like they got rid of the tail. The only character that's ever kept its tail is, like, Mickey. You know,
I don't even think Mickey keeps his tail. What's the last time you seen Mickey's tail?
It's always been there. Even in, like, it's never not gone. It's always been there, bro. I'm serious.
Connor,
Yes.
am I crazy? Am I crazy to say I haven't seen Mickey Mouse's tail in like forever?
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey. Holy shit! It is there.
Yes.
Oh wait! Oh no, that's fake Mickey.
Let's see.
Oh my
It's
god!
there in
It's...
House of Mouse.
Yeah, there's a lot of the artwork. Yeah, you're totally right. Wow, I'm going crazy. Okay, so he has his tail still.
Moses is our unreliable narrator.
Honestly, this might be a Mandela effect thing right now. Like, I probably crossed over into this universe, and lost I came from a universe where Mickey lost his tail a while ago. Damn.
Hasn't he always had his tail?
You-
Am I crazy now?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, if you Google Peg Leg Pete, you can find the designs from the 30s, who is obviously much more as a cat. They usually keep his ears pointy and his whiskers scruffed, but in Goof Troop, they made him more canine looking to fit the art style, though he is still a cat. It's one of those things I've always been obvious, but never really connected up. I've been checking out the history of Pete since seeing this post. I'm having a ton of fun watching Walt's earlier animated films. Two things I was surprised to learn about Pete by his wiki page. He's the oldest. He is Disney's oldest character that still exists today. He predates Mickey Mouse by 3 years. He also started off as a bear, but turned into a cat once Mickey Mouse became more prominent. Thanks for posting this thread. Any excuse to dive into Walt's and Oob's history is... Wow, what the fuck?
So they just make him jump species after species after species.
I mean, yeah, because they say he looks more canine, but apparently he still is, a cat. Okay, so Pete, also known as Peg Leg Pete, Pistol Pete. What? Pete is known as Pistol Pete? Okay.
Wait, what?
Apparently, Pete in one of the cartoons was called Pistol Pete. So maybe Pistol.
Did say,
huh?
Maybe he did birth. Maybe he birthed Pistol out of his own ass.
what is it? A junior situation?
I don't know. Well, PJ is junior.
No, I'm saying the movie Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he gives birth.
Oh, God, that's a reference.
It might be.
That's a reference.
He's a man of considerable heft.
Would Mickey Mouse be the Danny DeVito in this?
Oh my God. Pistol Pete.
Would have to be, wouldn't he?
I have no idea. Pistol Pete and Black Pete, amongst other names. It's a cartoon character created in 1925 by Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks. He's a character of Walt Disney Company, often appears as a nemesis and a main antagonist in Mickey Mouse universe stories. He is originally an anthropomorphic bear, but with the advent of Mickey Mouse in 1928, he was defined as a cat. Pete is the oldest continued Disney character and has debuted 3 years before Mickey in a cartoon. In the cartoon, Alice solves the puzzle. Pete was not named in the first year of the Mickey Mouse cartoon, but he was given the name Peg Leg Pete in 1930. So yeah, he's A cat.
Jesus.
Because there hasn't actually been a an update to him saying that he's become a dog.
That's weird. Do we ever see any other cats in Spoonerville?
No.
Yeah, that's really weird. That's really fucking weird. Why the fuck was he called Sylvester Marconi at one point?
Did he play the Mamba?
He's the mom. But yeah.
Now Marconi plays the
The
Mamba.
Listen to the radio. Can't you remember? Peters also had many appearances in Disney comics, and often appear as Sylvester Shyster's dimwitted sidekick in the Mickey Mouse comic strip. In the Italian comic production, he has come to be the central character in comics from time to time. Pete later made several appearances in television, most extensively in Goof Troop, where he's given more continuity, having a family and a regular job as a used car salesman, and his friend, albeit a poor one, to Goofy. He reprises this incarnation in 1999's Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. Pete also appears in House of Mouse 2001 to 2003 as greedy property owner who is always trying to exploit the devious ways and loopholes to get the club shut down.
Yeah. You know, it's also what's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we think about it, like why I feel like Once Upon a Christmas is non-canon. It's the relationship between Pete and Goofy in that. Because like when he's just like, who would told you a lie like that? And he's like, Mr. Pete is like, oh, that figures, and he's all like, you know, bitter when he finds out about it, as opposed to be like, why would, instead of being like, if he was his friend, like, gee, why would Petey's tell a lie like that? You know, like,
yeah,
being defensive. He's just kind of like, oh, that asshole. You know?
Yeah, it's just like it's kind of weird that Goofy would be like, it's like you learned that from that piece of shit, Pete. Well, no shit, he lied to you. Compared to like Goofy and Goof Troop, be like, nah, Pete's a good friend. Kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it is wild. But yeah, damn, this wiki dive has been wild. So,
yeah.
Wait, oh no, I just realized something.
What? You didn't record this episode?
No, nigga. Look, I lost an episode, all right, and partial of another. Relax. Anyway, I just realized, as we alluded to earlier, that Chuck Berry being from Spoonerville, which is a majority dog neighborhood, it would be safe to assume that that Chuck Berry's a dog, and dogs are ostensibly the black people of this world. With them being cats, are they white?
What?
Is the Pete family white? Are cats white people?
They couldn't possibly be. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Something
It's weird to think about. They're dogs and cats. They're not white or black.
It also makes sense because Goofy owns a cat and Pete owns a dog. Also, I saw a really weird the Instagram story the other day, because someone said like a lot of people freak out. Like a lot of people think it's weird that Pluto exists in the same universe as Goofy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not that weird. It's like monkeys exist while humans do. And I was like, Yo, she got me there. She got me there, dude. By the way, yeah, this is just a story I was just randomly viewing. Like, I didn't talk to this person. This person posted a screenshot of, like, one of their conversations. Like a person I'm not related to at all. It's just someone I follow on Instagram. So the fact that I just so happened to come across that thought was beautiful in my mind. Meme magic stays strong. But yeah. Oh my god. He's a fucking cat. That's so wild to think about. And they are all cats, assumingly.
But are they Jellicle cats?
No. Probably not. Oh my god. God damn it. As soon as you said that, I started like singing the fucking Jellicle songs for Jellicle Cats song in my mind. Trying to be like, are they Jellicle Cats? And I was like, stop. Like, because I'm like, I don't need to know. Who gives a shit? I mean, I love cats.
You do.
Yeah, no, I do. But what I care about and what the audience enjoys are two different things. Oh, man. This is taking me for a loop. Fuck. I don't know. I feel like... I don't know if you guys feel this, but I feel like we're on the cusp of, like, really, truly understanding this whole universe from top to bottom. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Cause
like we're around like what, the fourth tier of the iceberg?
Oh, I forgot about that meme. But yeah, kind of. Cause like I think about it. Like Goofy's wife leaving him, that story makes sense. Goofy being an actor makes sense. There's nothing inherently contradictory up until that point. You know? Like Goofy, like, you know, like Goofy dropping out of college to pursue his acting career in full. Yeah, that makes sense. You don't need a degree to be an actor. I mean, people do it, but you don't need it. If you already had like some success, like in your college years, why would you finish your degree? All you're gonna do is build up debt. You know, why not just start working in full and like, and then, you know, like the job, the job stops drying up. You have a kid on the way. Your wife, you know, like Goofy's wife, Mrs. Goof, leaving him makes sense. It's such a genuine possibility, especially with their attitudes about how the character is portrayed. The understanding of like how like now we understand like another possible. I feel like this has been our strongest possibility to properly explain why Peg and Pistol, lore-wise, aren't in a Goofy movie. You know? Because yeah, the director answered it, and the answer was simply is like they probably were in one of the early drafts, but because it's a father-son story, they kind of like got in the way, so we kind of just have probably cut them out of the movie entirely, which is fair. But there is the genuine, but like that still doesn't display an extremely Goofy movie, which makes me believe that there's a reason why those characters are gone. There has to be. And the director of an extremely Goofy movie hasn't talked about it. Hasn't talked about Peg and Pistol are still seemingly missing. You know? Like it, like so, like I feel like that explains that. The rocks, the red hair connection that makes us like that, like kind of confirms that Mrs. Geef probably was the exact same Goof, and Goofy Jr. is Max Goof, and all these things that we've like built our theories upon, like
Our thinly veiled sweater,
our sweater with the made of the thinnest threads is
our see-through sweater,
No, that's not what it would mean. It would mean like it's easy. It would be easy to break, because it's like the thread is so thin.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be see through, but it'd be hard to make like a whole sweater out of it, kind of type deal. And
like
but
a
like,
top.
but like the thing is, well, yeah, like, I mean, we'll see how far we get with it, because like what I mean by thin, it just takes it's so thin. Because like sweaters aren't made of thin threads, typically. Either way, analogy aside, like our thin thread sweater is becoming more and more full as we discover these little things and start thinking them to logical conclusions. Like, because I feel like we are almost there. Like we have a couple more puzzle pieces before we really understand this world from top to bottom. Like we'll understand the white gloves, we'll understand the designs, we'll definitely understand like Mrs. Goof, Pistol Pete's difference of appearance, Peg and Pistol's disappearance, Roxanne's disappearance. Like I feel like we're on the fucking cusp of just having that all just fit together, and our puzzle and our sweater will be complete.
It's like we've cracked the code, and it's just like we've seen the Matrix.
Almost, because like if we're gonna go by the summary, if we're gonna do a summary from beginning to end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, Goofy was born under a deer hunting sign. That's the earliest thing we know about Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
This clearly had to be somewhere near Spoonerville, or it doesn't have to be, but it's fair enough to assume, that Spoonerville, Ohio. He was born like probably relatively near there. He was raised there. He went to high school there. And whilst going to high school, that's where he met Peg and Pete. Peg and Pete were high school sweethearts. Goofy participated in various sports and was successful at them to a point. And proceeded to go to college. Sometime during college, he started to get into acting. And his acting gigs became successful. After those became successful, he dropped out of college. He then, during his acting career or college or who knows, because Mrs. Geef is in there, so I assume that she's an actress also. Mrs. Geef is an actress alongside Goofy. They get along. Eventually, he knocks her up. They get married. But like either they get married before or maybe they get married after. Who knows? Max is born. At some point, the acting gigs are just kind of dry up. Goofy starts doing odd end jobs probably, because but the wife leaves him, takes all the money, leaves him with Max. They end up in a trailer. Goofy goes back to trade school or something to get a certificate as a handyman. Starts going to saves up money, gets his diploma, gets a good deal from his old high school friend Peg for a house in Spoonerville. Starts raising Max there at the age of 11 and a half. They go through, like Max is like raised, like, they go through various adventures and mishaps. At some point, his niece Debbie comes by, possibly Debbie Dune. We don't know where her last name comes from, but that is something people say. Has red hair, and because like she doesn't necessarily have any resemblance to Goofy, unlike Goofy's other relatives who look just like him, could possibly lead that's actually Max's cousin on his mother's side, which still leads her to be Goofy's niece, despite it being like like them probably being divorced.
Yeah. I would say, like, I do think there's credence to her that being on the mother's side, because when we see all the Goofy family relatives and ancestors, they all strongly resemble Goofy. So it's like the gene pool there is very strong, and the fact that she doesn't look anything like Goofy or like could be related to them, it does lend credence. Also, the red hair.
Exactly, the red hair is the red herring. Call back. I
just got it.
God damn it. At some point, we learned that Peg is, as I said earlier, like a real estate agent, possibly running her own business. She seems like she's a successful businesswoman. She has two children, being Pete Jr. and Pistol Pete, and her husband is Pete himself, who is a used car salesman. So at some point, like between Goof Troop and a Goofy movie, Goofy and and Pete go into business as photographers together, and like seemingly like mall photographers. It seems like, and they clearly take like various like random photos. At this point, so then we fast forward to what we know about a Goofy movie. Max is clearly at this point kind of a loser, not a popular kid at school. His seemingly his only friend is PJ, because he's seemingly like Bobby Zimmerowski, seemingly just an acquaintance, not really a friend. That will happen later. But prior to that, Max is kind of feels like he's cursed to like be the exact same way as his dad. But during this time, he gets a crush on this girl Roxanne, and prior to the events of the movie, he sets up this plan in order to do this big performance during the school assembly in order to win her over. He pulls it off, does well, gets in trouble with the principal. Principal phones Goofy. The events of a Goofy movie happen. I don't need to really go down into detail because that's very straightforward. But the thing that's notable is that Peg and Pistol are the only characters from like main character. Actually, the cat and the dog are also missing, but that doesn't necessarily matter. But like Peg and Pistol are noticeably missing. Where are they? They could have just not been on camera. But like eventually, Max and Goofy like reconcile their differences and realize they kind of both need to lead their own lives in their their own ways, kind of type deal. They learn something from each other during this trip.
They see eye to eye.
Exactly, they see eye to eye. Then we fast forward to the end of high school. They graduated high school. They're about to go to college. At this point, it's hard to know exactly what's going on, but it seems like either Goofy's working multiple jobs, or no, it's not unlike he's working multiple jobs. He has a job at a toy factory, due to having like the empty nest syndrome. What's that?
Yeah, empty nest syndrome. You got it right.
Empty nest syndrome. He gets distracted at work, causing a massive problem. Gets fired. Goes to the unemployment office, and they tell him that he needs to get a college diploma if he's going to be eligible for any like realistic form of for employment. So he goes to the same college as his son that he went to earlier, that the one that he dropped out from during his third year. So he has to go back and finish his year there. And bing bang, the events of an extremely goofy movie happen. But the most notable thing to notice is that during some point between a goofy movie and extremely goofy movie, there's clearly like a breakup between Roxanne and Max, because she is not mentioned married once, and Max is caught flirting with multiple women during the runtime of an extremely goofy movie. And during the extremely goofy movie, Bobby's Human Rescue is like now one of the they're like an unbreakable trio. It seems like at this point. And after that, we cut forward to Twice Upon a Christmas, where Max, still embarrassed by his dad, brings home another girl, Mona, and the events of Twice Upon a Christmas happen, and that's ostensibly the end of our timeline. Is there anything I missed?
What about? Wait, did we discuss House of Mouse and where that fits into?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So, also I failed to mention that Pistol, as we discussed earlier, possibly a child infidelity, because notably, Pistol and Peg are missing from an extremely goofy movie again. And then there's the fact that Pete specifically is glad to be alone at this point, even though he should have a daughter and a wife with him at home. So that leads credence to the divorce, which why would he still have PJ and not Pistol? It would lead one to believe the reason for that is most likely due to a divorce where they split custody. But how would they split custody like that? Well, if one of the kids isn't Pete's, he wouldn't take them. He would take the child that is his, because he's the one who did not commit infidelity. Surprisingly enough, he didn't commit infidelity or get caught. While at some point, Peg does, because again, as we mentioned, Pistol shares no real characteristics with Peg or Pete. Except for like small things. So, and in between a goofy movie, extremely goofy movie, in our opinion, there are some people who say they believe that Max is old. It takes place afterwards because of like it coming out at a different time. But Max, the House of Mouse opens. Actually, it's really weird. House of Mouse really is weird. I don't know. Between House of Mouse and it, the House of Mouse opens up, and Goofy is a waiter, and Max is a valet. And certain points they have dates. Now, it is worth mentioning that some people believe it takes place afterwards, but the problem is there's two problems with with House of Mouse taking place after an extremely goofy movie. One, Roxanne pops up again. I know it could be like, oh well, she came back into Max's life, but that still doesn't really make sense because the latest thing that we know in the timeline is Mona, so they would have had to break up again. Two is Clarabelle. Clarabelle is pursuing a relation like sometimes like relate like romance shenanigans with Goofy, in that movie, in that show, which would say that he broke up with Sylvia at some point. And as we know, we all like Sylvia more than Clarabelle. Can we agree?
Of course, definitely, 100%.
Clarabelle sucks.
Yeah. So
It's annoying.
yeah, exactly. Like so we're left like so. And also Roxanne's design is more akin to her Goofy movie design. So it leads me to believe that it's while Max is like he just got his driver's permit or something and he's like doing like a summer job or a part-time job like while in school. You know. Because that's my opinion. You know, but because of the fact that they show these the old shorts during House of Mouse, it's the reason why we believe that Goofy, Mickey, and Donald were actors back in the day, because they are literally showing their own films to them. So that would mean they physically exist for them, their characters, which would essentially mean they were recorded films for them. Is there anything I'm missing?
Let's see. I
No, it
feel
makes
like
sense to me,
you.
Chief.
What? Say again, Connor?
It makes sense to me, Chief.
I know. I that was a long one. I know. Like I kind of went on a bit for that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
No, yeah. I feel the only thing, like, yeah, like the whole crux of like where like this where the timeline like gets wobbly and with House of Mouse is like that whole arc with Max getting his driver's license and stuff, and then getting a car. But then you see like an extremely goofy movie. He's not driving the car that they take to college. Who's driving? I think it was
Well, like what's it like Max?
Bobby, or was it PJ?
I think it's
Driving the
Bobby
car.
driving, but like Max takes like control of the wheel a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think. Like what's it like maybe they decided it would just be easier to take the because they're gonna dorm. So what was like the need of keeping a car like bringing all their cars down?
Yeah. Also, like, when the beginning of Twice Upon a Christmas, like Max and Mona come in via train.
Yeah.
Instead of car, so that's like where it's just like the iffy. It's not like
Well,
definitive proof, but it's just like it
the,
leaves room for doubt.
Well, the train thing doesn't bother me as much because like what's it called we like what's it called there's no like we don't know how far Max's college is compared to Spoonerville.
Mm-hmm.
We know it takes like a while for them to like drive there, as far as we know. But other than that, it's just like we actually don't know. So like the train thing doesn't bother me none. I feel like that is such a minor detail. And yet again, the van thing could be struck up as like, well, if we're all gonna be dorm roommates and we're all gonna be living in the same place, wouldn't it be easier just to stuff one car with all our stuff and all go together? Because it's like when you take a road trip, you don't take, you take it, you go like with one car, even if all of you own a car, you're not gonna like all drive in all your cars individually and like talk via walkie-talkie or something.
Nah, that's only if the group is large.
Yeah, that's only if the group is like really large, and like that's not at that point it's probably not a road trip. It's like kind of like a family like trip thing, weird thing.
Yeah, you might as well just take a Winnebago.
Yeah, exactly. Might as well fucking rent an RV. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, like that's essentially most of what we know of the Goofy movies timeline. But like, there's
I don't think we missed anything. We did this. Wait, did we discuss? No, yeah, because we said it's not in canon. Once Upon a Christmas.
Yeah, so that's another thing. It's just sheerly impossible for Once Upon a Christmas.
Lore.
It breaks lore because Max is younger. Like, he's getting to Spoonerville younger. They're already established there. Max is not surprised. It's just, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's the lack of PJ. It's the houses look different. It's just
it just has to be an alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best we can ever say about it.
Yeah.
But either way, it's yeah, like, that's about it. Like, the only things we can like consult at this point, if we want to like really jazz up our stuff, is to read the comics, which it's not the worst thing to get our hands on. There's probably plenty of ways to be able to read some of these, but but at the end of the day, it's just like, there's still clues we could possibly pick up that
you two need to watch Goof Troop, and then like
exactly. It's like me watching that one episode of Goof Troop because no, because you showed me an episode of Goof Troop while I was like over your house.
Yeah, like I'm like, am I nuts, or is it something off with this animation and sound?
Yeah, there's something off about the animation sound, but despite that, like, in that episode, Pete is constantly like, Goof, you were born under a bad sign, born under a curse star, a bad, he's a bad sign specifically. He's like, bad sign, and then Pete and Goofy's like, no, I wasn't, Pete. I was born under a deer hunting sign. See, what happened was my mom was in the forest, and then like he comes and like, I don't want to hear, Goof. And so that's the main reason why I know he was born under a deer hunting sign.
Yeah. Also, like, it was weird in that episode. He was trying to actively attack crows, like, on his roof.
Yeah.
When in another episode, when Pete wants to go, like, it showed that Goofy's a friend of birds, and like you can do like different bird calls to get him to cut close. And when Pete tricks him into going duck hunting with him to like be his bird call, and then he goes and tries to shoot a duck, and like Goofy's just completely like heartbroken that he was being used and that Pete hurt a duck. I'm like, didn't you just a couple episodes like we're trying to kill crows?
He learned the error of his ways. But yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. So at this I don't know, man. I feel like there's still like things we need like that we can learn. There's still things that we like that there's just things out there. It's wild to think about. How do you feel about all this, Connor?
Like I want to die.
Why do you want to die?
No, I don't mean that. No, it's just like crazy to see that timeline that we've kind of created.
Right? It's kind of wild to like really put it in perspective. That we really understand Goofy from day one to year 53.
Yeah, it's like A to Z pretty much. Like like
it's kind of we need to like actually like write down like like a timeline. because we understand a decent bit that happens within a 50-year period.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know?
also the Goofy family tree.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, there's all those flashback episodes where it's like, well, this is about great Alexander Goof or some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If that's real. Because, yeah, again, Goofy, as we've noted in our podcast before, is that he's an unreliable narrator.
Well, he reads from books. He breaks out the books every time, so it's like.
You think you could read? I like to believe.
Well, I mean, like there was times where he was like reading in the newspaper to like find jobs. So.
No, I know. I'm joking. I'm busting the balls of our great man Goof. So, okay, that's that's really interesting to think about how much stuff from his family's lives Goofy has preserved.
They have fucking their like ancient ancestors from the Stone Age preserved, which is like wild as fuck. I mean, I know it's cartoon logic, but that's just like.
Wait, do they have that in books?
They have it in the book. It's brought out during one of the. They have it in the book. He breaks out the book to talk about.
How is it? Do you see the book actually, and like how it's depicted? How they recorded that?
I mean, like you see like a photo, and then it like zooms in, and then the color goes in, and it's just like that.
So it's a photo of what?
No, I mean like there's written words. Like you don't see like the cartoon logic.
No,
just lines.
Well, because if what you're saying is true, and this, like, they might have like what's this like they might have some of the like the oldest written history in all of history.
It's like the Goofy version of what is that called? Rosetta Stone? It's just Goofy's family history.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm talking about like this like would be like Beowulf or like Gilgamesh. You know what I mean? Like the oldest written thing in existence. Like, think about that. Fuck. That is wild to think about. And like they preserve, because like what's like, damn. I wouldn't. So it's just inherent in the Goofy family history to preserve the Goofy family history. It's just present in all their natures. Correct?
Yeah, like there's all kinds of things that get handed down from family. Like there's the map, there's the fishing pole, there's the fine china that Pete fucking heartlessly destroyed.
Oh my
fucking dickhead.
God, so when you put it in perspective like that, it really makes you wonder how old that china was. Like, oh my God, like how how much did that survive? Like you think about all that shit, like all the way back to the cavemen, all the God, it's wild to think about the preservation that they've done. And it's one of those things that, like, it doesn't seem Max is interested at all to do any of it.
He hates it when he breaks out the book. He's like, no, not the book.
That's dude. That's wild to think about. The perfect cast. God knows how old the perfect cast is. Right?
It's who knows?
Who fucking knows?
That's why, like I said, I was upset when Goofy just tosses the map away. Because remember, that map was supposed to belong to all Goofs.
Yeah, all Goofs.
I mean, yes, it made a cool transition, but at what cost?
And what? Do a cool transition, Maxie. You don't understand.
Dad, what the fuck? Look.
Fucking stupid.
Look, you don't understand the fourth wall yet. Once you do, it'll all change. Well, yeah, well, you're a son of a dumb bitch. All right, we are hitting an hour. I feel like, again, I still. Any final thoughts from any of y'all?
No.
Like in general.
I mean, for this episode.
Well, like, yeah, I mean, like, we pretty much, like, have almost a clear map of, like, the timeline. It's just wrinkling out some smaller details here and there. I don't know how much, I mean, I'm sure that there's still lots to discover. Who knows how deep the rabbit hole goes. Yeah. It's like you said, also, like, the comic books, it's, like, it's not impossible to get our hands on it. It's just not readily as available as, say, the movies and show.
I mean, for a while, the movie and the show was not readily available in any realistic way.
I kind of want to get my hands. I wonder if there is a DVD copy of like Goof Troop, like I can get on DVD, or I gotta get the Goofy movie, an extremely Goofy movie, on DVD because I want to listen to it. I wonder, do they have director's commentary? Because I would love to like just listen to the episodes and the movies on director's commentary to see if there's any more, little did you know things.
Yeah.
I
mean, again, like Kevin Lima, director of a Goofy movie, doesn't have a crazy big following on Twitter. Not to be mean to the guy. I mean, I can look. Okay, I don't know. There's things I could ask him possibly. I don't know. Either way, okay. Any last thoughts from you, Connor?
No.
I'm sad Daft Punk broke up.
No need to bring that up, man. Don't do this. Damn it. All right.
You think they're still together in the Goofy timeline?
I don't want to think about it right now. Either way, thank you for watching, for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Hit that bell notification icon. So you guys know whenever we upload and everything.
Mm-hmm. Special shout out to Maya for pointing out that her theories on the comment in the last episode about Pistol being possibly a Chihuahua. Didn't think about that.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Yeah, but either way, shout out to anyone who to everyone who's been supporting us. Thank you for watching and listening. Yeah, I think that does it. We've almost completed this sweater. Mark my words.
Yeah, we've hit the 6-month milestone, I think, at this point, or
26. Yeah,
yeah, halfway to a year.
Halfway to a year. All right. Have a good night, y'all, or good time to wherever y'all at, or whenever you listen to this.
Until next time, or in 5 seconds, who knows? Maybe you're listening to this on a playlist.
Oh, yeah. Has that thing been updated?
I don't know.
Marconi plays the mummer.